Hey guys, Professor Bell, Comic Book University, and The Punisher, issue number 14. Man, the surprise character who showed up in this comic book, I haven't seen him in forever. And all of a sudden, he starts popping up in random comic books all over the place, including this one. Just saying. Just saying. Will I say who it was? There's no need. Y'all know who it was if you read this. If you don't, go and read it. Because you're probably going to be like, oh crap, I'm so happy to see him again. Anyway, let's get talking about who made this comic book. We'll talk a little bit about the comic book itself. So, we got The Punisher, Frank Castellan, War on the Streets, Part 3. The artwork for the interior front title page is Gabriel Del Otto. For everybody else, we got Matthew Rosenberg writing this comic book, Simon Kudransky on art, colors, Antonio Fabella, and letters, VC's Corey Petit. Cover artist, Greg Smallwood, and the designer is Anthony Gambino. This was kind of weird, but fun at the same time. You know, the book prior to this has always been really freaking serious. In this issue, we kind of take a slightly lighter turn. Things are sillier. And I don't mean silly in a major silly way. It's just, yeah, whatever. They're sillier, okay? I'm using that word. I'm keeping to that word. Black Widow hanging out with Frank a little bit. Frank goes and starts shooting up a bunch of UN agents. It turns out they're not actually UN agents, though. They're really just Hydra agents from Bagalia. Yeah, that makes it a whole lot easier. Because Frank is just like, dude, there's all these innocent peoples here in front of me. How am I supposed to get? I don't shoot military. I don't shoot police. What am I supposed to do? And Black Widow gives him the heads up. They're actually Hydra agents. And they actually keep their costumes on underneath their gear, which makes it a whole lot easier when the press gets a hold that UN agents are apparently being shot in the street by the Punisher. Punisher has, his biggest deal, the thing that keeps him relevant in people's eyes is the idea that the regular people on the street love him. Whenever you hear somebody saying, somebody's got to do something, well, unless you're a scumbag, you're usually thinking the Punisher. If you're a scumbag, you're thinking the Punisher, but you don't actually know what it means. Good people, relative term, people who want to see injustices being done right, being done right by. They want to see the Wall Street corporate people, who commit all sorts of atrocities all over the place, screwing people over, ruining them, getting them evicted from their homes, taking away their college funds, their 401ks, their pension plans, and terrible, terrible things that wreck people's lives. We want to see justice being done. We want to see a regular person from the streets stand up and actually do something, because it's too hard for us to do something on our own. I mean, come on. Anyway, that's what the Punisher is supposed to represent. So keeping that street cred, even though the higher ups don't like you at all, in fact, you're public enemy number one to them, it's kind of a big deal. It's always fascinating to see that a character like the Kingpin, who's in charge of this city, New York City, right? He'd rather put up with the Thunderbolts. Villains! And in this case, villains who aren't even trying to do right. Just straight up villains. Running around the streets, as opposed to the Punisher, is technically trying to do right. That's what I like seeing about this comic book. That's what I enjoy about this. So even when it starts to get a little bit silly, like some of the stuff that happens in here, I'm still good with it. Night Thrasher showing up, awesome. Moon Knight, that conversation with Moon Knight is just as good gets. And I love that the Punisher couldn't actually get one over on him. That was perfect. And the quick barb at the end. Wait, what did, Night Thrasher saying, wait, what did he just call me? That quick little diatribe, that panel, perfect. Absolutely perfect. But again, the surprise character at the end of this, I'm not talking about the female Punisher, the Punisherette, whatever the heck she is, Alvarette. Like, what the frick is going on here? Seriously? No. Get your own costume. It's not that kind of a Marvel anymore. Anyway, not that I had a huge problem with that, but anyway. This was a fun comic book. I definitely enjoyed this. But I'm hoping that some of the silly kind of goes away, because I really like this being a more serious take on just the Punisher coming in and tearing house on everybody. I would prefer to see the Punisher picking off Hydra agents one by one in a comic book, as opposed to going with a team, especially the heavy hitter that shows up in this one. And I'm done. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.